class? Ethan?
Java.
Java? Python?
Java.
Okay, so since you will have a lot of opportunity that you need to learn a new language at, probably in your future project. So what I'm going to talk about is several concepts that applies to almost all of the languages, programming language that you probably need to use in the future. So can anyone of you describe what's programming, or what's it like? And just describe it in your own way.
Writing instructions.
Write instruction to
read and write files.
Yeah, okay. So let's try to describe it in a very more understandable way. That if you ask me, I will say programming is like you are writing a to-do list to your computer, because it's basically you write something that tells your computer what to do, right? So, okay. So if I'm going to write this to-do list, we will. I should new a file, right? So this file could be a .java file, .py Python file, or .c file. So it's like you're asking for the paper to write this to-do list. Okay. But since your computer, they're not so smart like human, they're not people. So if you're writing this to-do list, you have to describe each instruction in a very specific, logical, and detailed way. So for example, if I write this to-do list, let's say, offer me a glass of water. If like Amar got this to-do list, he's totally capable of doing this, right? He doesn't have to ask any question. But if you do this to your computer, and your computer probably gonna wondering, so what's the definition of water? Or where are the glasses? So it's very different because you have to communicate with your computer in the way they understand it. Okay, so to start with, we are going to talk about variables and data type. So anyone of you can tell me why am I mention these two things when programming?
Variables are like things that need to be defined. Might be later on, might be just right there, and it helps the computer like know that, okay, that's going to be something that I need to use in some task later.
Yes, that's correct. So often we will find that writing code is very similar to math, right? So when you learn about variables, probably because you're taking math classes, for example, we are doing the calculation like there's three variables, A1 and A2 and A3. And we will write down, okay, A1 means, for example, the number of students of morning session, AM session. Okay, then A2 probably means the students in number of students in PM session. So okay, then this would be 9, and it has a value of 5 probably. Okay, so A3 we are going to define the protein as the sum of A1 and A2, right? So how do we do this when we program? Anyone?
Compare that to the type of variables like integer.
Yes.
And then we say, I guess like in Java you would say int name is equal to value.
Yes, that's correct. So I should write down like n, and then
Variable name
variable name like A1, and
equal to
yes, and semicolon. What about A3?
you can set A3 as A1 plus A2.
Yes. So that's a pretty simple example, right? So for many of you, you're probably using Arduino, right? You're starting to program with Arduino, so you probably need to specify the number of the pin number that you are going to receive an input or output. So probably you will need to define a pin number, probably pin number 5 as an analog output. So what, for me, I will do like this. I declare it as an integer, and I will make a name for it, like analog out equals to 5. So in this example and this example, which one is better? Which is that?
The second one.
The second one? Yes, and why?
It's more specific.
Yes, because when you program, you will probably need to spend a lot of time debugging or revise your code. So it's very important that you keep all the variable you need. That it has make it a very describable name, very understandable. That every time you want to revise it, or maybe you write a bunch of code and then you come back and look at the code after like 1 month, you can still understand what were you doing back then. So aside from integer, there's a lot of different values that we can use. What other data type do you think that we use? What? Sorry. Double. Okay. Char, yes.
Boolean.
Boolean, yes.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah. So for double, it can represent to the numbers like
Decimal.
what?
Decimal.
Yes. For example, 2.57. For char. Anyone?
Characters.
Characters, yes, like 8. Yeah. And Boolean. What about Boolean?
True and false. True and false.
True or false. Sometimes true or false, or it could be 0 and 1. Yeah. Okay, so that's it for the variable. So now we are going to talk about control flow. so you probably don't know what I'm talking about. So it will help us to tell our computer to do something, to execute certain actions under certain condition, or do something in a recursive way. So the most common control flow, one of it is loop. So anyone knows what loop is? Anyone can tell me?
A loop is like under a condition it would keep going, like it would keep repeating the same process.
Okay, so there are two most common loop we use. One is the for loop. The other one is the while loop. So for loop, it will probably look like this when coding. So usually we will declare a variable like I here and assign it a original value of probably 0. You can choose any number you want. And for this one, for this example, I have the variable I start from 0. So as long as the value of I is smaller than 10, it will do the things I specified here in between the brackets. So after that, for the first iteration, the value of I is 0, and then after they do all the things I specified here, the value of I will increase by 1. Yes, that's it, right? So it depends what you want to do in the bracket. You can do anything with I or without I, and if you do it without I, you just probably repeat the same thing like 10 times. So the value of I should start from 0 to 1. Yeah? I mean, the value of I varies, right? So it should start from 0 to what? 9. Yes, correct. So it will exactly the same thing like 10 times. Okay, that's it for loop. And what about while loop? While loop probably will look like this. So for the while loop, it will look like this, and it will execute it will do the things that we specified here. Only if the current status fits the condition we described here. So for example, if there's still money left in your pocket, you can keep shopping, right? So when coding, we probably write if money bigger than 0, and we can like keep shopping. Okay. So any questions so far? So these are the most common loops we use during when we program. And for control flow, we still have the other control flow that we usually use is the if statement. Okay, so for if statement, it will look like this. It looks pretty similar to the while loop, but the difference between it is that the if statement will only do the things we specified here for once. Okay, so for example, that you go to a dinner, and the restaurant has a bar that offers drinks, and the bartender should be offering you whatever you ask for, right? But what if there's a teenager boy that he go to a bar and asks, so say that I like a glass of red wine, but it shouldn't be happening, right? That the bartender shouldn't provide alcoholic beverage to underage boy. So in this condition, we'll say if the age of the customer is smaller than the legal age to drink. So what's the legal age to drink? 21, right? If the customer is younger than 21, and then the bartender should probably offer him a soft drink, milk, water, soda, and so on. So, okay, for if statements, we can also have if-else statement. And it will look like this. So, okay, let's say you want to drive. There's like one of you wants to drive, but before you drive, you have to go to a key keeper to ask for keys, right? But the key keeper will make sure that you are old enough to drive. So in this statement, in this if-else statement, what would you do in the condition here? Anyone?
If age is greater than 16,
And then?
Age is greater than 16. System that out that you can drive.
Sorry, I can hear you. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Like you could just have like you could print a statement saying that like system that out that
Oh.
give key.
Okay.
Give key to person.
Yes, that's correct. Just we don't have to like really coding now. So probably the keeper should give him the key.
Yeah.
So the person can drive.
Yeah.
But else here, what do we do here for the else? Probably then if so the else here means if the condition doesn't fit the condition we described here, it will execute the action we described here. So it means if the age of this person isn't old enough to drive, then probably he will not be able to claim the key. Probably the key keeper might need to call his parents that tell him that your son attempts to drive. Okay. So now we are going to lot of way to describe what is a function. Jin-Chen, can you tell us what is a function?
Well, it's almost like a way of compressing code somewhat. So you have a function and then you write code into the function. And then you call the function repeatedly, so you don't have to write the same code over and over again.
Yes, that's totally correct. So if you ask me, I will say that function is probably like a machine. Because machine do things that repeatedly, right? So I would say, for example, if you want to have a cup of coffee every morning when you wake up, you will need to buy a coffee machine and put it in your kitchen. After that, you will apply it with coffee powder, right? Coffee powder, sugar, water, or milk. So, but you wouldn't want to repeatedly buying a new coffee machine if you want a coffee again. So, function is like this machine. So let's see an example. For example, do you know how to convert temperature in Celsius to Fahrenheit? No? Do you know? So how? Do you remember? Yeah. So the formula should look like this, right? Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. So, but it's probably be irritating if you wanted to do it all over again and you don't want to write the same code, right? So let's make it a function. So anyone can tell me why am I writing float here?
Because that's the type of variable you're returning.
Yes, correct. And this is just the name of this function. Okay, so what about this one?
That's the input.
Yeah, that's it. So basically, after you write this code, you have this machine that automatically calculate this number for you, as long as you feed this function with the value it needs. So, if for example, I want to convert the temperature of 100 degrees in Celsius, how will I write here? Anyone?
All temperature 100,
Like
and then temperature, and then pass it in.
temperature, and then
Parentheses, open braces, 100, 0.0.
0.0. Yes, that's correct. Okay. So,
What's it float in the
oh, sorry, I didn't explain it. Remember when we talked about data type? Yeah, we have like integer, float, double. Oh, okay. So float is very similar to double.
Yeah.
That it anyone know what's the difference between float and double?
Doubles can store bigger numbers.
Yes. So, like double can, the length of the double is twice longer than the float. So if you have to wanted to have your variable has a value of like very long, very long value with that decimal, you should go with double. So, any questions? Is there anything you want to know but I didn't mention? You can ask right now. Okay, I think that's all. And you're feel free to just come to me